Andrew Schultz in it. Have you watched it or not? No, it's good. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. I would say the Christian so that's to watch it. It's good. From what I understand, it's a huge deal. Yeah.
I saw that.
Dude, how insane is that?
It's gotta be a thought.
I don't know. He just something insane.
What you were thinking of, Matt? I'm gonna hold it.